I'm the owner of the biggest restaurant in the city. But one day, I decided to visit my own restaurant disguised as a poor woman because I wanted to see how my staff treated people who looked helpless and hungry. I wore old torn clothes, messed up my hair, and walked slowly into the restaurant while everyone stared at me like I didn't belong there. The bright lights, expensive food, and well-dressed customers made me look even poorer. I walked up to the counter where a new waiter was standing who had recently joined and had no idea who I was. In a soft voice, I said, "Can you please give me something to eat? I'm very hungry." He looked at me from head to toe with disgust and angrily said, "This isn't a charity place. Get out of here. People like you always come asking for free food." His voice was so loud that the entire restaurant suddenly became silent and everyone started watching. I politely said again, "If there is any leftover food, please give it to me. I haven't eaten all day." But instead of helping me, he became even angrier and shouted, "I told you to leave right now. Nobody here is going to give you anything." Just then, the restaurant's old manager came over after hearing the noise. He looked at me carefully for a moment, and suddenly his face turned pale. He immediately stood straight and nervously said, "Ma'am, is that you?" The whole restaurant froze in shock, and the waiter almost dropped the tray from his hands because he didn't understand what was happening. I calmly fixed my hair and stood straight, then looked at the waiter and said, "The woman you were just throwing out of the restaurant is the owner of this place." The waiter's face turned white, and tears filled his eyes as he started apologizing again and again. I looked around the silent restaurant and said, "I didn't build this restaurant just to make money. I built it to show humanity. If someone comes here hungry, they deserve respect." The waiter lowered his head and kept begging for forgiveness, but I took a deep breath and said, "Everyone makes mistakes, but disrespect and humiliation have no place here." Then I turned to the manager and said, "From today, this boy will not work here anymore, but make sure he learns one lesson in life. Never insult a poor person." And as I walked toward the door, I gave one final order. "From today, if any hungry person enters this restaurant, they will be given food, even if they have no money, because true wealth is not in money, it's in the heart."